Hello and welcome everyone to our 43rd episode of the BBC. Today's topic is open Q&A and domain and settlement selection updates. I got D with me today. D, are you there? You with us?
I am indeed, sir. I was just about going to ask if I can do a brand endorsement for Coca-Cola now. We have so many viewers that you're getting sponsorship slots and opportunities.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because it reminded me that I have to drink on stream. Otherwise, we don't get the thousands of dollars that, Coke is sending us every 2 weeks when we do these streams. So
That's right. Yeah, indeed. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. We're expecting probably a little bit smaller crowd than usual tonight. We haven't kind of like had a tremendous amount of stuff released from the studio with the July the 4th weekend. We've only had the one shiny instead of normally two to talk and comment about. But we did get the developer journal or the community journal that came out, and we're going to kind of like look at some of that and do a little bit of theory crafting about what some of those upcoming things are going to be and how they might be shaped, etc. And Noz, back to you.
yeah, we announced the stream. We got such a huge response from that. D, we were just talking about that. How the announcement that you do, hours and hours before the stream. Normally, we're fighting to keep content on it, to keep it in the top 10. But no one responded to it today, and it never dropped out of the top 5. And you normally get people that downvote your posts because they enjoy our show so much, but we didn't even get those today, so that was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's actually funny. They get downvoted. It doesn't matter what I post there. There's a I don't know who it is, and I don't really care. But yeah, it's sometimes funny to see that. So yeah, to our viewers out there, how are you guys? Because obviously you're still here, kind of like diehards of the, and for which we're grateful of the show, etc. Um, Hello, Spell Slinger. How are you guys weathering through the delay here with domain and settlement selection? We're kind of, my view of it is I know it's going to be awesome when it comes out. I was chatting with Noslim about this before the show actually started. That despite a lot of the downers and everything like that, I'm actually still very, very excited for it. But it's that excitement. Probably the best analogy that I could give is that if I knew I was going to be getting an awesome freaking Christmas present this year, right? And I'm looking forward to that Christmas present, and I know it's going to be there. And I come down on Christmas Day, and there it is. And it's still all wrapped up, and it's ready to be opened, and I'm ready to check it out. And then the parents come in the room and say, "Nope, sorry, you're going to have to wait until Easter for this one." It's like, fuck, what the hell just happened? It's still there. It's still going to be good, but the waiting kind of like is kind of like, wow. What's your take on that, Noz?
I think the waiting for me, the hardest part of it is knowing that we need to get through this to do other things that we've been excited about doing. We need to get past domain and settlement selection in order to recruit certain individuals that are only looking for specific biomes and specific tribes. And we want to have a better understanding of what our settlements have to offer those potential players. And this is just something that needs to happen in order for us to solidify our settlements and our ideas to what we want to pursue in games. So we can't do that part of the community building until we get past domain and settlement selection. So I'm not looking forward to it starting. I'm looking forward to it being over. I just want it to be done so we can start focusing on those things I just mentioned.
Yeah, it's for me. It's my take on it is that I'm actually going to really enjoy at least what I anticipate, kind of like a re-engagement of our community. I know that, and again, I can only speak for our particular duchy, but with the Dukes, we're pretty much already tied in and locked in to where we're wanting to pick and everything like that. But our counts are really going to be, we're going to be looking once we know where the county lines are as to who wants to go where, etc. And that whole discussion and that whole re-engagement that basically, we've had that disconnect for the last couple of months as people have been waiting, and it's you know I want that. For me, I don't know whether it's a question or a concern. I think that after we have domain and settlement selection, I think there'll still be quite a bit of engagement with the reverse auction. I don't know how long that's meant to last. Is that meant to last, a couple of weeks, couple of months? But I think people will be engaged enough to kind of like still, who is that placed in our duchy? Do we know that person? Do we not know that person? And all the kind of like associated um, Dancer Dynasties shit that goes around all of that, right? Is that somebody that we're going to attack and annihilate from the get go? Is that somebody we think that, oh, hey, they might actually be a cool addition to the community, etc. Um, it's for me, it's what happens after that. We had, if you at least recall, kind of like the map voting, the Searing Plague event, the Lost Vault event. We actually, at least here within Bordweall, the community energized fairly amazingly for that. And they kind of like, they woke up and they participated, they were enthusiastic, but it tapered off relatively quickly. And my concern is if they don't have something in some ways kind of like more tangible than what we've seen now, you know, are we looking at kind of like longer and longer periods of hibernation and disengagement from our communities and sub communities?
Yeah, we can't keep waking our guys up just to let them fall asleep again. I'm excited to get not to see domain and settlement selection start, but to see it finished and to see it over with. I want SBS to move past this point and start working on the next thing. I'd asked Caspian to knock domain and settlement selection out of the park. He told me at the time it was a very aggressive date. And this was several months ago. But I want to see him knock the next thing out of the park, and we can't get to that until domain and settlement selection is finished. I want to give my community something to get excited about again, other than a shrug emoji. That's what I got at the moment. So, but we do have some recent updates. We do have a community journal, like you mentioned. Normally, we don't get too excited about community journals. But this one in particular had a new segment in it called Ask a Dev. I think that's the first time that we've seen that. We got some cool information from Snipe Hunter on that. And then, as always, the What's Next section at the bottom of that fella provided some insight. But we also had a shiny this past week, which had some concept art. Which didn't do much for me, but I know you. There's some of you that appreciate that. I know we have some very talented artists in our group, but there was a random combat video thrown in at the bottom of that, and that captured my attention immediately, and I lost focus on everything that was above it. But yeah, we're gonna cover some of that stuff. I got the shiny up now. If you want me to throw it up, D.
Yeah, go ahead.
There it is, the shiny Out of Time. And like I said, there was some concept art that was in this. I don't know what any of this means because I didn't read any of this. So if any of our viewers, all three of you, want to chime in I'm kidding. There's more than that. On what some of this is. Um, I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know how it applies to COE and where it fits into the grand scheme of things. Did you have any particular thoughts on the concept art there, D?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot, given that we chatted about it briefly before the stream. I would say that I'm glad if people enjoy it. Right? It wasn't something that kind of like really tickled my fancy, to be quite honest. It's I think they're cool. I think they're cool concept art pieces, etc., etc. I almost got the feeling that when I was reading through it, I almost got the feeling that frickin' Snipe was trolling us with these. These are kind of like these are concept sketches. The much the way if you look at fashion sketches, right? It's a sketch that's put together quickly, just as a concept kind of thing, which is cool. But it was almost I took it as being troll filler. He was trolling us with padding the post before he got to the bit at the end there.
Yeah, I just cut back to the scene, and my whole office here was full of smoke, but it's all good.
I was wondering why your arms were flailing around and your tongue was sticking out of your mouth.
Nobody's seen that. But yeah, so I agree. Like, to me, concept art don't mean nothing to me. I can barely draw a stick man. So art is not something I'm really into. But I kind of got the feeling that he was trolling us a little bit too. Like, here's some art. I hope you guys enjoy it. And then boom, threw in a fucking combat video. And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know.
So there was a combat GIF that he put out. I don't know what it was, a month or 2 months ago. How do you feel that the two differ? Throw up that GIF right now and see what you think there.
Well, I don't know. This latest one didn't show us a whole lot. But
go full screen with it or something.
The duelist animation timing, right? So I'm assuming this signifies, these are not like combos here, but it's important to properly time each movement. Because in certain games you hit a button and your character, defaults to all this shit all at once, but I don't know. Maybe they're signifying that, we, in order to do these combos, we have to get the timing just right. I'm not sure what the thought process was there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that image, you've got kind of like, the two hands, which is kind of like the inventory. It shows you what you've got equipped in each hand. But it's almost like there's only 5 buttons there. So it doesn't, between the two hands. And I know they were saying, it's not going to be a rotation of doing this or doing that. Maybe each one of those 5 buttons, I know that they have different stances, right? That they were talking about. And then within those stances, you would have different moves, like maybe a dozen moves in each stance, and those are kind of like, I don't know, hotkeyed somehow or whatever the case may be.
There was a lot of comments. There was a lot of comments on this too, not just from Snipe Hunter, but from Serp as well. They're talking quite a bit about pre-Illyria, and some people were concerned about the low poly that's displayed here. I don't know who missed that memo, but this is nothing new here. We've known for a while that they're going to develop on this low poly version and then lay the high poly over the top of it once all the mechanics are fleshed out. If that's news to anyone, I just repeated it again. It's something we've known for a while, so I'm not sure what the outrage was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think I think most of the people that are following him fairly educated upon the fact that the pre-Illyria client will be in that low poly mode just because it's less expensive. It was explained in that thread. I don't think we need to beat it, but going back to what Borne just said here, where he said I had people complain about how he was holding his sword in a reverse grip while not in stance, and I happen to like that as well. Although it's kind of like in a low poly mode, you can see that this isn't just the regular right mouse button, left mouse button. He moves his sword left or he moves his sword right, and if it connects with a hitbox, then you've got combat initiated. They are actually, you can see, at least to me, that with the different moves and everything like that. I like the fact that obviously somewhere in there you can actually freaking throw in a kick. I don't know if that's part of again like a special combo or a specific move, or if you have to be in a specific stance to be able to get that. But it to me at least offers a hint. It offers a glimpse, a hope that yes, this is going to be more than just the typical, load up your macros, press F1, F2, F3, and the guy's dead kind of shit, if the guy kicks, you're going to be able to block, you're going to be able to roll dodge, etc. What we're seeing here is we're just seeing, one person go through his moves. It's much like maybe seeing, a martial arts person doing kind of like Tai Chi, the kung fu moves and kind of like slow motion thing that they do, but it's very, very different when they're partnered up with somebody and actually in combat. And I'm really looking forward to seeing footage of these kind of like newer combat things, with actually two people, them actually kind of like dueling rather than it being a duelist move. I want to see a lot of that.
Well, the biggest thing I noticed right away was it was very fluid and it wasn't clunky. A lot of the games we play, you'll perform a particular maneuver and then you return to the upright standing position and then you'll perform another maneuver. Whereas I think what this demonstrates clearly is that you can perform different moves off of different moves while you're still in motion. So it feels very fluid. It feels very natural. At least it looks that way, which was something that I was concerned with. Any PvP game, any combat game, I don't want it to feel clunky. I want it to feel fluid and natural. Any clunkiness, any jerkiness, any unrealistic, unnatural motions, just it doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, and I wouldn't really expect a lot of clunkiness in the low poly mode. I guess part of that is the mocap cameras they have now, the motion capture where the person wears the freaking whatever it is, the bodysuit with the freaking ping pong balls thrown onto it, whatever that is. I think a lot of advances have been made. It's to me, that part is definitely looking promising. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, ID and Borne's going back and forth in chat. ID said, let's not. Oh shit, the chat's moving. Let's not cut cool shit out of the game due to realism. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us agree with that. Maybe not some of the SMEs or the subject matter experts, but I want the game to be fucking fun, balanced, smooth. If a particular stance is not historically accurate, I don't give a fuck as long as it feels good and we're having fun killing people. That's all that matters, right? Hoorah.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's as long as it's engaging. There is, I get that we're going to have assassins and probably, some kind of like, I don't want too many of these one-shot things, It's you and I have played a lot of PUBG together, and we were in fact talking about that also just before the stream. And wow, we haven't played that in a long time. And I personally, I'm just maybe it's because I'm not as talented as some of you guys in playing that, but I'm tired of getting freaking headshot, from several hundred yards away and not having seen the person. Boom, that's it. I'm out the game, and I'm sitting there for the next 20 minutes watching you guys try and win a chicken dinner. I want something that's engaging, something that is a challenge.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because I hate getting sniped and having to watch you crawl around for 20 minutes. And I'm like, D, there's a guy on your left. Where? Boom, So we're not that good. Come on, PUBG is just fun. We should get back in there and have some fun with it just for shits and giggles. But yeah, no. Hey, as long as it feels good. Speaking of feel good. We got some feel goods from Caspian and from SERP on domain and settlement selection. We got some updates from them. Caspian, I think it was before the holiday weekend, was talking about how domain and settlement selection is nearly complete, and the web team I think has pretty much fleshed out everything they need to do. They've tested it thoroughly, and some of the later updates talked about how they're still fleshing out some of the things on the maps. And he said he wasn't going to show us a sneak peek at some of the stuff that he was working on in regards to the maps. And then he did show something that he was working on in true Caspian form. He said not to take a whole lot of stock in this, as that was still something that they were very, very actively working on. He had mentioned that for whatever reason, it wasn't creating the stylized map from the data in a way that he had wanted, and it was clumping it up. So that was something that he was working on. I'm not sure how far he got after that, but they're getting closer. Yeah, I don't know how many people took a whole lot of stock in that, but yeah, it was cool to see.
It's actually, I have to laugh and chuckle because I'm heartened by how that map looks, because understand that it's not a hand drawn map. It's a map that is generated basically on an outline of the continent, and then the data that has been generated from all these algorithms that they're tweaking and fine tuning and everything like that at the moment. That basically, it says, oh, there's these kind of trees here. Bump, here goes the stamp for oak trees. Bump, here goes the stamp for pampas grass. Bump, here goes the stamp for a low hill kind of thing, etc. And for those of you, most of you are kind of like, been following our stream for a while, but those of you that might not be aware, I love cartography. And I'm actually glad that this is going to be done the way that they're doing it, because it gives me an opportunity to make one. Not that it's necessarily better. I mean, it's just that I think it would be, let's say, more visually appealing, right? The more a computer can put out. And I'm actually looking forward to the challenge of that. It for me is something that is going to re-engage me, but that's not going to re-engage a lot of people. Maybe once we put it out and we have it put in again, going back to our interactive map, and we put the county lines on there, and then people can, it'll be something that we have as a permanent reference, where people can go to and see who their neighbors are, and that we update it during reverse auctions, etc., etc. I'm, as I said, that part I'm really looking forward to.
I think it's going to re-engage a lot of people to talk shit about your map and how you think you can do it better than SBS, and fucking hate on Bordweall for, ruining cartography for everyone else, because you're not allowed to do something you have fun with, and you know what I mean? Like, shame on you. Why would you even consider that?
Yeah, well, again, it's, they can say what they want. The map as I said, they're doing the map in this style so that it doesn't give a lot of info. And then if I'm going to kind of like, hand draw from that, I'm probably actually going to be less accurate than their map, right? So
That's not what
if
they were
their map,
saying, though. They were saying that you're going to
yeah,
make cartography obsolete because your map is going to be so good. And our haters were drumming up
nah,
some pure hatred on you for that. So I think we addressed that last
it'll.
stream, but yeah.
We did. It's it's something that I look forward to. Even Snipe Hunter in the last stream said that he thought he I've forgotten his exact words, but he liked the idea. He was kind of intrigued by it, and is curious to see how it turns out. So it's. I know that they want to keep kind of like the knowledge that we know as people in real life separate from the knowledge that our characters know in game, and so that there isn't a conflict there. I think it'll be fine. It'll be great.
We did get an update from SERP as well. I didn't throw that up, but I will. This was just recently on the first. It was what was it? Just before the everyone skipped out for the holiday, um, giving us an update to where they are. Um, and the web team continues to add polished niceties that Caspian mentioned that the community had requested. So I don't want to say we're close, but I think we're getting close. And I also think that um, you've got some in the community that are asking for niceties, and then you've got community leaders that are saying just get it out the door, let's go. I of course want it to be fully functional and not have any hiccups or any problems, but don't add shit to it. Just get the product out so that we can get through this and get past this and continue community building, because we're at a dead stop right now until this comes out. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that we're on hold. I think that the community has gone into hiatus until we get moving. We monitor a lot of things. We look at a lot of things. It's unfortunate, but June was the lowest grossing month for crowdfunding that we've had today, and it's not surprising. You know, what are people going to be buying right now? I think it's good that they haven't put out their Kickstarter anniversary, and people saying, "Oh, they don't have domain and settlement selection out, but they got a cash grab going again." Because I don't think it's about that, and I think that it's probably a good sign that they're starting to realize that, oh yeah, we don't want to give that impression, even though the two are related, right? The studio still has to collect money, regardless whether domain and settlement selection is delayed or not. But this is a time where theoretically, if domain and settlement selection was out, they should be making more money right now than they ever had in previously, especially if they've got the reverse auction. And you look at the fact that I think it's only half of the duchies. I know most of our duchies are filled up on NA East, but I think overall, when you look at all four of the servers, only half of the duchies are accounted for. And it was only something like, I think 25% of the counties, 20% of the counties, and maybe 10% of the settlements are spoken for. And so when you look at that tremendous potential of income and how much they should be having come in right now, it's like fuck, I hope that people do get re-engaged and it comes out and it's like, we get back on track.
Yeah, I think so. There's quite a bit of strife and discontent stirred up a little bit, early in the week about why isn't it here yet? We got a bunch of kids in the back of the car screaming, "When are we there? When are we there?" And so, some people were trying to say that this underestimation of what was done or what it would take to get these maps. And what I said to that was, going forward, we can't afford to have even a minor underestimation. Like it's, we need to get through domain and settlement selection, and the next thing needs to be knocked out of the park. Um, you know, for for a studio that relies so heavily on its community like SBS does, it's important for them to understand that we're helping them build that community, and we can't do that with overhype and underestimations. We can't do that, because that kills the hype that we're trying to portray to the community, to get them to come and get involved with what we're doing. And as soon as they walk into the door, oh, uh, I don't need this. There's nothing exciting going on here. So we got to keep that excitement up. But the only way we can do that is by delivering good on what we say is coming. So when they underestimate something, it makes us look like idiots or liars, and nobody wants to follow that. So we need to get through domain and settlement selection, and it needs to be different on the other side of domain and settlement selection with regards to the overhype and other silly community things that have been going on. I think that they're looking at all of this internally. They've said they are. But we won't know until we get past this. So we got to get past it. I want it to be over. I don't want it to start. I want it to be done so we can move on.
Alrighty. So you had said about the community journal, there was the section of what's next. We've only got about 10, 12 minutes left. So why don't you throw that up so we can quickly cover some of those topics in there, and to our viewers, when you see this come up, want your input and comments on these as well here. So, because some of them I don't know what the hell they are about.
So the Ask a Dev section that we mentioned earlier in the stream, this is completely new to the Community Journal. And this particular Ask a Dev segment was addressed to Snipe Hunter. And so, I don't know about you guys, but anytime Snipe says something, with exception to the concept art, okay, I will admit, exception to the rule there. But normally when Snipe says something, I pay attention, because what I can say about the stuff that he delivers to the community is it's always polished, it's always professional, and it's always well thought out. And so it's almost always received very well, with the exception to the concept art. But with this particular community journal, we have a new Ask a Dev section, and I think that they're going to continue with. There's a form you can fill out in the bottom of the community journal now. There's a link to it that you can go and submit a question. And if they like your question, you may get featured in next month's community journal. And so this was a very lengthy question. I'm not reading all this. I don't think anyone wants to hear this old hillbilly from Alabama read all of this shit. But, you're welcome to it. But the answer Snipe provided was lengthy and detailed as well. If you guys didn't catch the recent community journal, go back and take a look at that. Dig through some of that stuff and find this particular section. If you're interested in performing arts and musical arts and what effects that you relaxing in a beer hall somewhere is actually going to have to help replenish your character in game, it might be pretty important to go check that out. But what they have in every community journal is the what is next section. And for me, when I see a community journal, I quite honestly very very quickly skim through everything and go straight to what's next, because in every community journal, the what's next section every month gives you not only an insight on what they're currently working on, but what they're moving towards. And I think that we have some question marks and some squiggly arrows on here, but there were some things, D, that you were talking about that I hadn't highlighted on here. Um,
Well, if you leave that up, because my memory at my age tends to fade away. But if we look at it, domain and settlement selection, obviously that's self-explanatory. That's what we're all waiting for right now. The next one down, that the bullet point, you got a question mark beside, player event rewards. These are recorded and are forthcoming awards related to Conquest, Kickstarterversary, 18 and 17, Searing Plague, Lost Vault, and other prizes the community has earned. So, okay.
hadn't we already got those?
Yeah, some of them we've gotten, some of them we hadn't. If you remember the Conquest of Illyria, those of you that have been in the community for a while, we're meant to get, I think, what was it? There was a ring, a robe, and something else that you could get the set of them if you won, the Conquest of Illyria over all 3 days. But this is, again, I don't want to be a negative nitty, but this is just website inventory stuff. Yes, it'll be linked to your account and everything like that, but it doesn't do me any good at this moment in time to be wearing a ring or a robe for a game that's not going to come out, maybe for another 18 months or whatever the case might be. I don't need to see that in my inventory to make me feel better. I know that the Kickstarterversary rewards from 2017, we already have. We already had the EP applied. We already had, the other stuff. I guess, from the Searing Plague and the Lost Vault, the fact that, okay, it's going to be applied and we know that we're going to have a gold ingot in our inventory. Again, nice, but does it really change my journey before the launch of the game in any way? No, to me it doesn't. So I don't know, somebody tell me that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong on this, and somebody say, D, you're seeing it wrongly. This is what's going to be happening, and this is how it's going to affect you. And man, this is something to be stoked about. Because at the moment, it's like, it's nice. It's nice they're doing it, but I'm kind of also at the same time, meh,
Are you still talking about the player event rewards?
I'm still rambling about them, yeah.
I don't know what we've gotten and what we haven't gotten at this point. So anything extra they want to throw on the pile, all right, cool. That's I don't know where we're at on that shit, D. I really don't. I think we got some of this, some of it we maybe didn't. And now that you mentioned the rings and stuff and the necklaces, and wasn't it a necklace? I don't know. I can't remember. That's so long ago.
I can't remember. It was so long ago. That's why
Yeah.
It doesn't make a difference to me if it shows up in my fucking inventory tomorrow,
No one tell D he's wrong. That's blasphemy, says Borney. But yeah, so they're still working on
I want to find out who the dissenters are now and put them in my little fucking black book for later.
Yeah. So we've got work on pre-alpha, or pre-Lyria. And so for me, I thought pre-Lyria was like a no in NDA term. I don't know. Or maybe I haven't been following shit closely enough now, but I know now pre-Lyria is okay to say. It's not a dirty word. So that made me happy. And I don't know why I thought that, maybe whatever. So, all of the recent gifts that we've seen, the combat gifts, running through the desert, all of that stuff is them working in the pre-Lyria client. So we know that they're obviously making progress on that, and they're making really good progress on it. And it's not taking away from anything that's being done with domain and settlement selection. It's different teams working on different things. So it doesn't make sense to put everybody in the office on one project. You wouldn't get shit done from half the people. Yeah, so we're excited to see that. And if you hadn't drawn that conclusion, if you haven't connected those dots yet, it's spelled out pretty clearly for you. All of the recent updates we've seen with regards to those fancy images I just mentioned are directly results of their progress in pre-Illyria. I didn't really want to get into what is Donovan's estate? Significant updates to our Discord role playing capabilities and expansion of Donovan's estate, plus a new contest tied to it all. I would be excited about a contest if I knew what the fuck the contest was about, but I don't know what Donovan's estate is. Can anyone clear me in on that?
I think you and I are kind of like similar on that one. You know, I love the concept of the game. I'm freaking, this is the game I've been waiting decades for now, right? Ever since Ultima Online. It's Immaculate is saying Donovan's estate is the role-playing part of the Discord, I think, and and it's Caspian's character. Okay, cool. I did not know that. I was wondering if it might have been in one of those write-ups. I know that they wrote, fairly in-depth lore and everything like that for the Searing Plague event. There were several, of them, as well as for the Lost Vault. Though I support role playing, and we'll do stuff to support our role playing communities. I personally don't get into it that much and read that stuff that much. I tend to gloss over it, right? And I don't recall Donovan's estate sticking out. But if it's if it's Caspian's character on Discord, okay.
So we're having a contest to make Caspian's character in game a bigger house. is that what
I don't know what it is.
I don't know that one obviously. I guess if you're not in tune with RP, because we do have some people in the chat that clearly are, they know what the hell's going on, even though you and I don't. But maybe we just missed that memo somewhere or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for contests, but I think we need to explain what the hell it's about to people like yourself and I that don't know what the hell it's about. But I'm sure more will come with that. Somebody was talking about personas, and going back to the people in the community that are really into RP. That one kind of threw me for a loop as well, and I think it did you too. In that we're gonna have the ability to just pick up a persona whenever we want. I don't know. I was kind of confused with that one.
Yeah, is a persona kind of like, is it like a particular disguise or a particular role that you slip into? And is this related to Donovan's estate and Discord? Or is it related to stuff going on in game, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. A new promo event tied to our belated Kickstarter anniversary is in the works. Well, we know that the main one connected to the Kickstarter anniversary and that can't take place until domain and settlement selection is basically done is the reverse auction one. So it looks like they have a new promo event, which isn't surprising. The Kickstarter anniversary was meant to be in May in tandem with the reverse auction for the initially scheduled domain and settlement selection, but we're chugging towards August now, and they normally have some kind of promo every 3 months, so that's not surprising. What's your take on updates to our ambassador program and new recognition roles?
Oh yeah, that was generating some buzz a minute ago, and it got me in a lot of trouble a while back because I was bitching about the ambassador program, how they needed to fix it. I don't. And so people that know me know that my bark is a lot louder than my bite. I sound mad about shit. I'm not really mad. I'm just kind of loud sometimes. But I do think that the ambassador program I still think to this day there's only a handful of them that are actually doing what they were recognized for doing. They were recognized for being ambassadors of the community, and there's only like 3 or 4 that I would say are actually being ambassadors to the community. I see a lot of hate towards Violet, but I see her out there busting her ass every day working, and trying to help point people in the right direction, sometimes to old material, and she gets beat up for that. But the point is, I see her out there trying, and I'm not just here campaigning for Violet. I really couldn't care, but there are others that I see very active as well, and I'm not going to start naming names, but it's only a few of them, and the rest of them aren't doing what they were recognized for doing. So I don't see them as being ambassadors to the community. Anyway, so they're doing something to that program, revamping it, doing some work on it. In fact, I reached out to Serpentius, and Serpentius gave me some info on this. And with regards to the new recognition role as well, someone had guessed that role was going to be for content creators, and you're wrong, ID. You're awesome, but you got that one wrong. So where was that? Where did I put that in the BBC? Yes. Now I got to find it because I don't know what I did with it. There she is. I asked Serp, would you mind giving us a little input on some of these items in your what is next or what's next section? And he did. He graciously responded. And so the ambassador role is getting an update, and it's never been updated since its inception. So this will be the first iteration or improvement to that program since it launched. So that's good that they're doing that. I don't know what they're doing, whether it's going to be substantial or I'm not a mind reader. I'm only human here. I'm working with those five senses still. So, but the new recognition role is for former moderators, ambassadors, and serious community contributors, influencers, based on a specific set of criteria. And that's all he's going to share about that right now. So, I immediately responded, hey, I'm a former supermod, but I'm an asshole. So there's that. Okay, sounds good. And he said that's, part of the reason for it. And I told him, oh, you still do like me no matter how hard you try to hide it. So I don't know what that means. I guess I'm going to get a color now in the COE Discord for being a moderator for a couple of years, but I think, given my personality, it should be brown with a greenish tint. I think that's what we said, D.
Yeah, which I think that you had an image of a rhino that summed it up, I think.
Yeah, asshole mods. That's the name of the new role.
There you go.
Former asshole mods. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that's the big scoop on that, because when I seen that, I was like, no, you can't just put that in there as a one-liner and not give any details to that. The community wants to know. Well, now you know, right? So all 12 of you that logged in to watch us tonight, now you know. But there's an organization fair that I know, since we're talking about Serpentius, this is actually the next thing on the list. He's given us a hint there to that coming up with, after the communities have chosen their properties, a serious recruitment effort will get underway. Well, fuck yeah, serious recruitment is going to get underway, because for the first time in years, we're going to know what we have. We're going to know what biomes we're in, what resources we have, what tribe distribution we have in our local area. And we're going to be able to better appeal to certain, players that are interested in those things. Right now it's a guessing game. There's, nothing concrete, and it's kind of hard to get people excited about your community when you don't know where it is or what you're going to have to offer in it, other than your charming personality, which I've demonstrated I'm lacking. So I really need this to happen, so that we can do cool things like this organization fair. Serp has been talking about this shit for as long as I've known him. So, what is that, like almost 3 years now?
Yeah, 2 years, I would say, because Kickstarterversary was Kickstarter started in May 2016, and SERP I think joined a year after. So SERP would have joined around about May or June, if I'm not mistaken, of 2017. But it was one of the things that he wanted, that that I spoke with him about also, kind of like relatively early on, and we looked at different ways to maybe how to present it. And if you remember, we showed him the whiteboard, and Kaizen was around then, and stuff. But yeah, I imagine it will be kind of like a large nested kind of. Maybe they'll have a different Discord for each server. Maybe they'll have it all on one, and then have each server in its own channel and then sub channels. But I think you can only put so many sub channels in, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, Borne is excited about maps and domains and more recruitment because he's struggling so bad. If you guys don't have a home, Borne, that asshole snipes up everybody that walks in the kingdom door. You know what I'm saying, D? Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know how he does.
He's active.
It's that Canadian appeal. I don't know.
Yeah.
People are getting drunk on that maple syrup or something. I don't get it. Yeah, he's having to work real hard over there. No, but I agree. That it does mean more recruitment, and that's what I'm excited about. Notice I got rid of the scene there. It stayed up entirely too long, and I know, D, that you were super excited about the last part on there with the emojis for the Discord server. I know that's something you've been looking forward to.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. You know me. I don't actually go onto the official Discord that much. It's just there's so much crap to have to sift through, and it scrolls by so quickly, and I've got so many other things that I'm almost busy with in one form or another, or in personal chats with, that by the time I glance back to the COE Discord, I don't know what it's been like recently, but it used to scroll through at a pace where it's like, oh fuck, now I've lost track of the conversation that was going on, so I don't even worry about that. So yeah, animated emojis, again, they're kind of like nice, but they don't bring me any closer to enjoying COE, right? They're kind of like, they're nice. Some people might look upon them as fluff. Some people might kind of like look upon them as a nicety that it's added. But to me personally, they don't add anything to my journey to launch.
If you do want to add some emojis to the Kingdom Discord, let me know first, so we make sure nothing happens to the Kingdom Discord. But I know you don't give a shit about that sort of stuff. But I mean, to me, I think that's cool for people who are like Discord Nitro users. But for anyone else, the only place you're going to get to use those emojis is in the official COE Discord. And I agree. I don't spend a whole lot of time there either. I tried not to when I was a moderator, because the pace is so fast at times. And I agree. I'm an old hillbilly. I can't keep up with all that shit. So
cool.
Well, that's about it, man.
I think that brings us to the end of the list and the end of the stream.
I don't know how we did it.
Damn.
We got an hour out of that shit.
Alrighty. Yeah. Amazing, huh? Thank you everybody for being here. I hope I do not have any inside information, but I do hope that by the time next stream comes around, we've made a good step forward, and stuff has started. But I can't set expectations either, so that's probably unfair of me to even say. I just the sooner the better kind of thing,
Did we
miss thank you for co-hosting.
Did we miss any questions? I didn't see a whole lot of questions. Seen about 30 people show up and have fun poking at one another in chat, but I didn't see any serious questions. And yeah, I don't have any insider information either, other than what the new fancy recognition role is going to be for COE, which is kind of cool. I worked pretty hard for SBS for a long time, so if they want to recognize me for something, whatever, that's cool. I'm not gonna tell them no.
They need to recognize me for putting up with you.
I know, right? Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
All right.
A little darker brown colored there.
That's right.
Another shitty role to come up with.
Why do you think my hood's that color? All right, everybody. See you in 2 weeks' time, and thanks for watching.
Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Take care.